Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video we will talk about that how to integrate Google OAuth2 logins and logout system inside Laravel 11 framework. So we'll be looking at step-by-step instruction to actually build this application and show user profile information in a card-like structure. You will see we are using Tailwind CSS for the UI, and you can see it is running on localhost 80 port number, which is the current default port number for Laravel applications. So we have also a logout button. If you click the logout button, we'll be redirected back to the login page. So now if I actually close the browser and reopen the browser, then it automatically detects that I am already logged out. So when I open the home page, it will redirect me to the login page. Now you can see that. So we are actually using, guys, exam control panel, which comes with Apache server and PHP myadmin. So where we are actually storing all the data. So if you see, basically here we are storing inside this is our table, which is database users DB. Currently there is a single user out there. This is actually all the tables which are there: migrations, sessions, users. So we are also using sessions as well to actually store session information about the user. So there is a single user out there, which is a display name coding Siksha Geeky Gautam 1997. It is storing Google ID, avatar, token as well. So all this information is stored if you log in with this user. So it is saying that missing client ID. So I think I removed the client ID. So let me just refresh here. Click login with Google. So you will see that you will be automatically logged here. You will see currently this user is present here. Let me log in with a different user. So now I'm logging it for the very first time. If I open the application, so if you're logging in for the very first time, then you will need to select the consent screen. You will see now it is successfully a second account. If I refresh, now a second entry will be added. You will see that Harshit Chopra 1997 @gmail.com. This is their avatar pic, so it is showing here. So in the similar way, we can try out for a different account. So if you're doing it for the very first time, guys, you will need to actually see this consent screen. Here you need to select your Google account, allow the permission, and after that the login will be successful. You will see that the profile picture, display name, and the email address. If I refresh the table, you will see that 3 users are there. You will see in the sessions table as well, there is a sessions table also created. So we are also using sessions as well. For every sessions that user create or logged in, a newly session ID is generated in the table. If you see, a newly generated session ID is there. So we are actually storing all this information in the MySQL table. Whenever you log in, log out, every sort of information is session ID is being inserted. So this is actually the application, guys. We will be doing it step by step. We are actually using the latest version of Laravel. At the time of recording this video, it is Laravel 11. So we are using the latest version of PHP, which is 8.2, Laravel, which is 11. So Laravel 11 requires you to have 8.2 minimum PHP version. So make sure just PHP dash version. You should have PHP 11 installed, PHP 8.2. So at the time of recording this video, this is the latest version 8.2.4. So I already have the latest version, and Laravel 11 I am using. So let's start this tutorial, guys. If you need the full source code of this application, I have given the link in the description. You can directly purchase the full source code from my website procodestore.com. It will actually contain a zip file which will contain all this directory structure of the code. The link is given, procodestore.com, where you can purchase it. After that purchasing, you will be redirected to Google Drive, where you can download the zip file. And so the link is given, you can directly purchase it. So now, guys, what I will do, I will go into the directory where I will develop this project. So first of all, as I already told you, you should have this software installed, which is Exam Control Panel, which is actually a software which comes with the Apache server, which will actually run on localhost 80 port number and the MySQL database. So it is required for this Laravel. You should have Apache Exam Control Panel, because we are using MySQL PHP myadmin. So it's a free software, open source. Windows, it available for Windows, Linux and Mac, depending upon your internet operating system. Install it and start this Apache server and MySQL. So now what I will do, I will go into my htdocs directory. So by default examp is located in C directory, examp htdocs. This is the htdocs folder, and right here we will actually create a new Laravel 11 project. We will use the composer command, guys. Composer is a dependency manager. We will write composer create project dash dash prefer dash dist Laravel slash Laravel followed by the project name. So I will simply give Laravel Google login project. So let me zoom in to the command. Just pause the video and write it. Composer create project dash dash prefer dist Laravel slash Laravel, and then followed by your project name. So this is the project name that I am giving right here. So simply write this command, pause the video. After this, it will actually create a Laravel project. So it is saying that Laravel Google login project is not empty. So let me just change the project name. So it is actually creating a new Laravel project, guys. It is installing the packages. It will take some time. So just wait for 15 to 20 seconds and then it will install these dependencies. So just wait for the process to finish. So once it is installed, guys, it will give you a notification where you can actually start building the project. So just wait. So Laravel, guys, it's a pretty famous framework among developers, PHP developers. It's really good. If you can learn Laravel, it's a good practice to, it will actually gives you jobs as well. You will see that, guys, it has by default it works with the SQLite database, but we will not be using SQLite. We will using the MySQL database. I will show you how to do this. So I will cd into the project directory and open it inside VS Code. So you will see this is actually the directory structure of the Laravel 11 framework, the latest version of Laravel. So many things are simplified right here. In the app folder, we have the HTTP folder, which contains the controllers folder. Then we have the models folder, and this is actually the providers folder. So as you all know, Laravel is a MVC based framework, model view controller. So we have model, which is having data, view is our HTML files, and C controller is the business logic. It controls what views to show. So this is the MVC framework. So the first thing, guys, here what we need to do, we need to basically install the package which we will be using for integrating the Google OAuth login. So we need to require this package, which is Laravel / Socialite. This is the name of the package, guys. Composer require Laravel / Socialite. This is the name of the package. Simply install this package. So it will hardly take 5 to 10 seconds and it will install all the dependencies. So once it is installed, we will actually be, so now it is installed. So all these packages will go into this file, which is composer.json. If you open this file, you can see we have successfully installed this Laravel / Socialite. This is the latest version, 11.9. 11.13.0 Laravel version, and the PHP version is 8.2. You will see that. So this is the thing, and now we need to go to this file, .env file. Here we will need to just write at the bottom. We will be having some constants. First is Google client ID. So all these things will be coming from Google Cloud Console, and then we need to also get Google client secret, and then we need to also get Google redirect URL. So these three things we need to get, guys. So this will be constant, the redirect URI. So by default, the Laravel application works on localhost 8000 /auth slash Google slash callback. So this is actually the redirect URI, guys. This thing will be constant because Laravel works on localhost 8000, and then this is a redirect URI slash auth slash Google slash callback. This is actually the full redirect URI. So now these two things, in order to get this, we just need to go to Google Cloud Console and actually create a project right here. I have already created one project. Let me just go to this one. So here we need to simply go to APIs and services and go to credentials. And then you need to create OAuth client ID, select web application, and then we need to paste authorize JavaScript origin, which is actually the home page of the application. So we are running it on HTTP localhost 8000, and then the redirect URI is actually, this is a redirect URI that you write here. Simply copy this and paste it. So just paste it, click on create. So then it will give you your client ID and client secret. So don't copy my client ID and client secret, it will be different for you. So just copy this and paste it, client secret as well. So we have copy pasted these variables. Next we also need to set some database connection variables. So DB connection is MySQL. These variables needs to be same, guys, so just copy what I am writing right here. Don't make any mistake because you will get error. The variable name needs to be the same. DB port, by default it runs on 3306, and whatever is your database name. So let me create a database Laravel login system. So you don't need to create this database. Laravel will automatically create it whenever we run migrations. So you don't need to create this database manually. Then we need to just type the username. By default username is root, and the password, if you haven't changed the password, default password is nothing. That's all. This is all the variables that we need to declare, guys, inside .env. Simply close this file. Now we just need to make a controller. So this is actually the command in Laravel. So Laravel has its own PHP RTC CLI. This RTC CLI has some commands out there, which is, one command is make controller, and followed by the name of the controller, which is auth controller. You can give any name of your choice, but I am giving this PHP artisan make underscore controller auth controller. So what it will do, it will actually create this in the controllers folder. It will actually create a new controller. In the left hand side, you will see it has created this auth controller file, and by default it comes with some code right here, if you see. So after we create this controller file, we will have some methods in this. First method will be to redirect. So this method names can be anything, but I am just defining it like this. The second method will be to handle the Google callback URL. This will be the second function in the controller function. The third one will be responsible for logging out the user. So public function logout. This function will be responsible for logging out the user. And lastly, now to actually go index function as well. So right here, these are four functions which are there in the auth controller. Now we just need to go to our routes file. If you see, we have a routes file in the app folder. Not in the app folder, sorry. We have in the routes folder, sorry, routes. We have this file called as web.php. So inside this file, you will see already a single controller or route is there. Whenever someone goes to the home page, we are loading this view. So views are located in the views folder. If you see right here, the views folder, this is the storage folder, and the views folder, let me see, yeah, it is located in the resources folder, and then this is a single welcome.blade.php. So we actually use Blade in Laravel. So this is the actual welcome page that you will see. Now to run the Laravel application, it's very easy. PHP artisan serve. This is actually the command PHP artisan serve. This will actually start your Laravel development server on localhost 8000. So if you try to open this now, you will see the welcome page. So it is saying to us that unknown database Laravel logging system. So okay, for the time being I'll just remove this name from here because .env. I just remove the name from here, or I create this users db. Just for the time being I will change the name. So if you just see, it will show you this Laravel welcome page that you will see, guys. For you will see this is a welcome page. You can edit this page by going to this file which is located in the resources folder. You use welcome and just change it to like this. We will say Google login and logout system. So if you just make changes, it will automatically reload. You don't need to restart your server. You will see that. So now whenever someone goes to the home page of the application, this view is loaded. So this is actually happening because in the controller function we are actually if you see, by default we are actually loading this. If you see in the routes folder, if I go to the routes directory web.php, so we are directly loading this view. We are loading this welcome blade.php file, if you see. So that's why it is loading this view. So now what we need to do right here, we need to actually do this to the controller. Instead of writing directly, we will say route get. So whenever someone goes to the home page, we now need to assign this job to the controller. This is way much cleaner. Auth controller class, and we will call it the index function which is present in the controller. So now we just need to actually import this controller right at the top. So what we will say, use app under http controllers, and inside that we have the auth controller. So what it will do, it will now call this index function, and now inside this index function what we can do, we can actually load the view, the same view. We can say return view welcome. So this will again do the same thing, but it is way more cleaner because we are using the controller instead of directly doing this. If you refresh it, nothing will change. It will still remain the same, but we are actually following a good programming practice. We are actually allowing the controller to actually load the view. So then what we need to do, guys, inside this, we just need to create migrations. So if you don't know about migrations, guys, it is actually created to create the database and tables. For that we need to first of all go to models folder right here. Inside models folder there will be already be a model file which will be available, which is user.php. So right here we just need to add some fields right here. So we just don't need just delete everything from here and just write the name field we want. We need the email of the person, we need the Google underscore ID, we need the avatar pic, avatar. So these are the 4 fields we will need, guys, inside this. And right here we don't need the password, we only need the remember token. So delete the password from here, and this will password also remove it from here, and we will say email verified at, it will remain. And that's all I think that we have for this. Also one more function you need to write for this. Just add this function public function set avatar attribute. We are actually setting the avatar attribute to be the actual value or default value we are providing, which is default avatar.png. So this is actually the model file which is ready, guys. So after we do this, we now need to go to the now need to create the migration. So migration, we have this command which is php artisan make :migration and followed by the name of the migration. So I will say add Google fields to users table. So if you just zoom in, php artisan make :migration followed by the name of the migration. So we are adding the Google fields to users table. So this actually will create the table for us, and here we need to mention table name is equal to users. So this is actually the full command if you see. So what I will do is that I will go to the .env file and I will change the database name to once again Laravel login. So this database will automatically get created whenever I run this migration. So you will see the migration is created successfully. So it is located in the database folder migrations. So if you open the database folder, if you see database, then we have got migrations. This is actually the latest migration. It is created by this command. So now we need to actually set the schema here in the tables of users. We just need to set what we need. So we need a Google ID field which can be nullable. So we can use nullable here, and then we can say after password field. And then we also need table string avatar nullable. So just write this code, guys. I am writing it after Google ID. So it is required for creating the tables, guys. And also in the migration we have the up function to actually create the table and down function to actually delete the columns. So now inside the down function, if you actually want to delete the table, then this columns will be deleted, which is drop column Google_ID. If you want to delete the table, this migration will be available, table drop column. In most cases we don't use this method down function, but it is better practice to write the down function as well. That's all. But this is all that we need to do, guys, here. And now to run the migration, it's very simple. We just write php artisan migrate. So what it will do, guys, it will actually first of all it will ask you that the database is not created. So you can see the database Laravel logging doesn't exist on the MySQL connection. Would you like to create it? So I will say yes. So it will first of all create the database, and then it will run the migrations and it will create all these tables. So if I check my php my admin, I go to that, and if I check that table, the database, it will be created, which is Laravel login, and inside this a set of tables are created, and we only need the user table right here, and we don't need this password email verified at. So now to delete this, simply click on the drop option to delete this email verified at and password as well. We don't need this. So after this, guys, what we need to do, we just need to, after we created all these tables, so now the job is pretty much simple, guys. We now need to write our simple, go to the welcome.blade.php. So right here we will simply be importing Tailwind CSS. So just import the CDN for Tailwind CSS. So just write tailwind CSS CDN. So just import the CDN just after the title. So right here guys, we will give it a body, a class bg gray of 100, flex item center, justify center, minimum height, screen. So if you just apply this and go to your localhost 8000 port number, you will see some classes will be applied. You first of all need to run the server for this. So php artisan serve. So now you can see it will come right at the center and the background color is gray. So all these things are coming using these pre-made classes. So we will actually have a condition guys here. If you don't have experiences in Blade, there is actually a guest conditional operator in Blade. So guest simply means that if the user is not logged in, then in that case we need to show the login page. So if the guest condition is true, in that case we will be showing a login page to the user. So right here, this will be login with Google. So similarly, we also have the else block as well right here. So if the user is authenticated, if the user is not a guest, also we can end this guest right here. So if the user is not a guest, then we can simply show a message, user is authenticated. So now by default this condition will evaluate to true, so you will see login with Google button will be showing right here. So now inside this we will give it a class to it of text gray 600 MB4. So this is I think a different class we need to give. BG red 500. So when we hover onto this, we need to change the color to 700. Text will be white, font bold, PY2, PX4, and it will be rounded. So these are all the Tailwind classes guys. So if you just style it, it will look something like this. So Tailwind is very easy to learn guys. It's a very good framework. We don't need to write custom CSS. And this is these are I think this one for the login with Google. So this is I think login with Google. This you can see that. So now it's a blue color, and whenever you go to this page, href attribute will be equal to we need to go double curly bracket and URL. We need to set the URL to in single quote auth/Google. So we now need to actually, if you just click this button, nothing will happen. It will say not found, 404 not found. So this route we need to make /auth/Google. So what we need to do, we simply need to go to the routes file. So it is located in the I think it is located in the routes web.php. So here we just need to make this route, which will be responsible for actually be for the routing. So there will be a route here we need to write, which is route get auth/Google, and then here we will simply say auth controller, and then it's a class, and here we'll be calling this function, which is redirect to Google semicolon. So we again need to go to auth controller, and we actually have defined this method in this, which is redirect to Google. We are simply calling this method. So right inside this method, guys, what we need to do, we simply need to redirect the user. We will say return, and we use this package socialite. It will be imported here. You will see that right at the top, and it contains this driver function, and here we need to go specify Google here and then redirect it to the, so we have actually in the .env file we are actually having the Google client ID secret redirect URI. So now this will work if I simply navigate to, it is saying trying to access array offset value on type value. So just log in with Google. So again it is saying the same value, container make request config client ID. Let me check, guys, what is actually it's a problem. I think redirect to Google .env Google underscore client ID. Just wait. So guys, I figured out the error. It was a very silly mistake, and I forgot to tell you, if you want to actually load the variables inside the environment variables, if I just click it, those variables that we defined in the .env file, if you see, for Google client ID, secret key and redirect URL, we need to load these variables first of all. For loading this, we just need to go to the, in the Laravel folder structure, we have this config folder right here, the top directory. You will see that. You need to open this folder and then go to this file which is services.php. So if you want to register any third-party service inside of a Laravel application, you need to go to this file and simply right here all these third-party services you need to register it. So if you're using it inside your application, so we are actually using our Google application, so we just need to register it like this. So we are using this 3 client ID like this. We will be loading this from the environment function, and whatever value that we have given, Google client ID, put a comma, and the second one will be for the client secret. Here also load this as well, environment and Google client secret, and similarly we will actually be using the redirect. This value will also be, we'll be getting from the environment function, Google redirect URL. So just make sure that you have defined this to be same, Google client ID, secret and redirect URL. Spelling needs to be the same right here. So now if you do, just refresh, click on that button, and if you now see, you will be redirected to the Google account screen, consent screen, where you need to select your Google account. If I select it, you need to click continue, and you will actually see 404 not found. So it's quite natural because we haven't configured this route. So it's a callback URL, localhost 8000/auth/google/callback, and this is actually the authorization code that we will get. We now need to exchange this authorization code for the access token. So actually use the Google API to actually get the user informations. We need to get the access token from this authorization code that you see right here. So now to do this, we just need to go to the routes file, which is web.php, and here we just need to write a simple route for the callback URL. So we'll say route get auth/google/callback, and right here we will again assign this job to the controller, auth controller, and it basically contains a function right here which will be handle Google callback. That's all. So actually if you open the controller file, we have defined this function, app http controller. So this function is handle call Google callback. So this function is now responsible for fetching the access token. So now to fetch the access token, we do need that authorization code. We will say socialite and driver, and we will say Google. We will basically fetch here, fetch the user. So you can see all these methods are pre-built inside this library, and we will find and create the user in the database if the user is not present. We'll say auth user, and we'll say user first or create. This is a function we will call. So here, if the user is already present or if the user is a first user. So if the user is not present, in that case we will be inserting it in the database, the table. This email address, we will be getting it using user get email, like this. And this is actually the thing that we need to write here. Let me just tell you. So here, if you see, it is saying to us that the user is not defined. We now need to actually import this model file that we are using. So app model files that we defined, and we have defined this user model. So here we are using this user model that we defined. If you see in the models folder, we have defined this file, which is user.php. So we are just simply inserting it inside auth controller. We are importing it and creating the name, avatar, Google ID, and the email address as well. So just format this code. So after we do this, it's very easy now. We can basically log in the user by using auth login function, which is present. We can basically pass the authenticated user as the first argument and the true as second. And then we will be redirecting the user back to the home page. That's all. So here this auth, we just need to import this class from Laravel. So this is actually, this class is there, illuminate I support facets slash auth. So that's all. So we are redirecting user back to the home page. That's all. So if you just reload your application, click on continue. So it will actually redirect you to the home page, and now you will see this message that user is authenticated. So now we are having on the home page here on the screen. So now the user is authenticated, and instead of this message, we just need to print out the details. So go to the welcome plate.php file, and right here in this user is authenticated, this condition evaluates to false. The user is not a guest, so the user is authenticated. So in this case, we just need to show the profile details of the user, which will be coming. So now to show the profile details, it is very easy. So right here, let me delete everything from here and give it a class bg_white shadow md. It will be rounded on large devices, padding will be 6, text center, and we will be showing the profile picture of the user like this: auth user avatar, like this, giving a class to it of width 24, height is also 24, and it will be rounded mx auto and mb4. So if you just refresh now, there will be this image which will be shown to you of the logged in user, and similarly you will be displaying the display name, email address, and the logout button as well. So h2 tag, giving a class text excel font bold and mb2, and this will be having double curly brackets once again, auth user name, and then we will also be displaying the email address as well. So this time this will be email. So if you just refresh now, display name, email address, and it is displayed. Now lastly we will also be showing a logout button to the user just to log in out. So URL, and it will actually go to logout route. That's all. So we'll actually be giving a class to it of bgret 500. We hover onto this, it will change to bgret 700. Text will be white, font bold, py2, px, padding from the x direction 4, rounded, and it will actually say to the user logout. So just refresh now, you will see a logout button as well, so you will see that. And if I show you the table as well guys, in the users table currently there is, you will actually see where is my table, Laravel, Laravel, just refresh it, so you can see that. So Laravel login is our database. If I open this, there will be this users table, and currently there is a single user out there which is logged in, and it also has a session table. Currently there is a single session out there. It also supports storing the browser information, IP address, everything, payload, user ID as well. So everything is stored, and if I click logout, nothing will happen. We 404 not found because we need to make this route. So just go to your route file which is stored inside, I think I almost forgot. It is stored inside your routes web.php. So now to actually write our logout route, it's very easy. We will actually be writing this route get, and we'll say logout, and then again auth controller, and we'll be calling the logout function right here. That's all. So we'll be calling the logout function when we click the logout route. So just go to your controller file and just make this function as well. So in the logout function, what we need to do, we just need to redirect the user to the home page. So first of all, we will call this logout function and then redirect to the home page. That's all. That's all that we need to do guys in this application. If you just do, you will see logout, again login. So if you close the browser, again open it, it will automatically detect that you are already logged in, so it will automatically redirect to the profile page. If I click logout and close the browser and again open it, it will detect that you are logged out. So that's the advantage of storing information in sessions. So you can do it for any Google browser. If you're doing it for the very first time, then it will ask for the information to be, it will just see select your account, continue, and you'll see that. So now if I go to PHP admin, there will be two users coding Siksha and Gautam Sharma. You will see that. So everything is stored in the table as well. So thank you very much guys for watching this video. All the source code with full documentation and support is given in the description. You can directly purchase it, and I will be seeing you in the next video. And thank you very much for watching this video.